Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
I made mistakes. And a lot of enemies.
His call sign's Taskmaster. He controls the Red Room. They're manipulated, fully conscious, but no choices.
I should have come back for you. How many others are there?
Enough.
Hello. This is Adolf, and I have with me Classic Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And today we're reviewing a 3D movie.
Woohoo!
This movie is Black Widow from Marvel Studios. So, Jake, you reviewed this. What do you think of the 3D?
I thought the 3D was great in this.
So I agree. I've actually watched this movie twice. And I watched it in 2D and in 3D.
Dedicated.
Well, the local AMC forgot to turn on the 3D, so I complained, and they gave us free tickets, so I watched it again in 3D, and it worked this time.
Well, that was nice of them. A lot better than what you probably would have got at Regal.
So why is this great in 3D, Jake?
Oh, there's some awesome pop-outs in this. And I really liked the some of the end scenes, like there's some explosions. There's a set piece at a landing field and an airplane that looked absolutely incredible in 3D. Yeah, and also some of the rushed CG that people have been complaining about looks a lot better in 3D than it does in 2D.
How many times have you seen this movie?
I've seen it once, but I've also seen comparison clips of people showing the 2D version, and it looked really. I could see some of the shots in 2D of Black Widow swinging on mines just look really bad CG. But when I saw it in the theater in 3D, they popped beautifully, because I think the 3D effect just kind of fuzzed it enough to where it just looked a lot better. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, I think so. And overall, I felt like it was very good from beginning to end. But there's definitely multiple scenes here and there where it gets to be great. And there's definitely things here and there that pop out. Like, you said in your written review, that there's like sniper rifles that pop out. There's little of this, little of that. And the ending, I think, looks really fantastic in 3D too.
Yeah, that one scene where they kind of just wave the sniper rifle and it comes out of the screen. I thought that was a really nice pop out. I also really liked a lot of them. They were like climbing up walls and stuff, doing rope stuff. That popped real nice too.
And like even like the beginning, which you'll get to a little bit, but there's like a scene with the girls on a swing set, and like the girls popping out with the swing, and it's like, and it's not like gimmicky really. It just it's part of the movie, and it feels natural, and it works.
Exactly.
So it works well. I definitely was happy seeing it again in 3D, and even the movie has a lot of darkly lit scenes. I think it works. So I basically I feel like it could have been a little bit stronger, but that's kind of really. I think it's kind of splitting hairs, but it's still, I think it's great 3D. Not exactly editor's choice, but definitely great enough that I could recommend this to anyone that wants to see it. It's like, oh, is it 3D worth it? Yes. Period.
Yeah, most definitely the 3D is worth it.
So the final verdict is great 3D.
Yep.
Now on to the movie itself. So Black Widow is an interesting movie because it is both self-contained and not.
Mm-hmm.
And
exactly.
It's like what you said in your review, which I have up here. Its first movie in nearly 2 years. It feels like it's been like 4 or 5 years. and it's like an espionage thriller family, and it
Drama.
packs a wallop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of weird because it's set in between two movies, Captain America: Civil War and Avengers: Infinity War.
Mm-hmm. To me, the biggest weakness this movie had was they should have referenced those movies a little bit more, because I think as time goes on, people are going to watch this movie and either forgot a lot of stuff or haven't seen those movies, and this movie won't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, when I went to go see this, my mom was like, "Oh, why didn't you take me?" And I was like, "Well, I don't think you would really understand it because she hasn't seen any of the Marvel movies. So without seeing any of those, you're gonna have some context left that you're just like, huh? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Why is she running away from that guy?" And
and when did Natasha die?
yeah, which she dies eventually in Endgame, but like it's one of those things that's just like, oh, okay. It's a little bit weird to watch this movie now. I think it should have. Obviously you mentioned this before, that should have released, right after Iron Man 2. But if anything, why not just release this, before Civil War, or after Civil War, and before Infinity War? It just makes more sense to release it then than now. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, I think a lot of it I think the former regime didn't think a female character could lead a Marvel movie and make money, and obviously Kevin Feige thought differently.
So the basic plot of this movie, how do you want to sum this up?
Basically, it's basically Black Widow's life, and it's about her life before joining the Avengers, and the people who were her kind of you make her family per se that she's made, and their adventure between Civil War and Infinity War.
Now, specifically, this story here is about the Black Widow, and she figures out about a plot.
We find out what happened in Budapest, finally.
Yeah, to a degree.
Well, we know that she went there to tear down the Red Room. Which
we learn in this movie what the Red Room is.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And you get to meet her sister, her dad, quote unquote, and her mom, and Dreykov, which is the one controlling the Black Widows, and you get to understand, hey, the situation with the Black Widows is bigger than anyone probably knew beforehand, and so Black Widow herself, Scarlett Johansson, is trying to work with her sister to take down Dreykov.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's basically the entire story in a nutshell without really spoiling it. You get a lot of characters that we've never seen before, and I really like these characters.
Yeah, exactly. I hope we see more of them in the future.
Florence Pugh as Lena, love her. She's awesome.
Uh-huh. Yeah. If you haven't seen Midsommar, aka Midsummer, she's incredible in that.
David Harbour as Alexei, love him too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I always like David Harbour, and he practically steals this movie.
Rachel Weisz as Melina, love her too. Yeah. Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rachel Weisz, she's awesome. Like a lot of people might remember her from The Mummy, even though she's done lots and lots of movies.
Now, this movie does start off with a past scene, and then we get caught up to where we are now a little bit. And the younger actors that played young Natasha and young Lena, I really like them too.
Yeah.
Now, the only person I don't really love is Dreykov, the villain here, because I think he's kind of generic. He's just kind of your scumbag, I'm going to take over, kind of, it's just...
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it because, like I said, Marvel movies are more about the inner conflicts, usually, is the real villain. of the piece, and you don't want to feel for this guy when they take his ass down.
Yeah. Overall, the action is very fun and light. I mean, it's nothing like too brutal, but it's nothing over the top. It's a little more grounded than other Marvel movies. Overall, what's your score on this? What's your final score?
8 out of 10.
Now, it's interesting because the first time I watched this movie, I was like, all right, I might be a 7. But since I watched it twice, I was able to actually get a little more out of it. And I was like, you know what? I agree. 8 out of 10 for me as well. It actually holds up really well to second viewing. And it helps to get to things there. Obviously, I had to step out of the theater for a scene and, complain to management. So I had to rewatch that scene but still, overall, I thought it was very enjoyable. Not the best Marvel movie, but not the worst either.
Yep.
And it kind of proves that she can have her own movie that's pretty badass, that is likable. And hey, I definitely want more of this.
Yeah, they managed to make an interesting movie about a character that was deceased and still tied into the future, which was something the Solo movie failed to do.
Yeah, I mean, knowing that she will be deceased in Avengers Endgame and after that point did kind of hamper some things. You're like, well, it's hard to take her, action scenes, all of that, because she's going to be fine. So it's kind of a weird bag there. But overall, I still really enjoyed it, and I very much recommend this. So,
Yep.
That's it for us. Bye.
Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D, Mr. Bengal 5, and Kevin Winter for your financial support on Patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.